Thank you so much, guys. Well, we start with Olympic news. Senior international Olympic official John Coetis says the delayed Tokyo Olympics could end up being the greatest games ever when the world emerges from COVID-19 crisis next year. Australian Olympic chief and head of the International Olympic Committee's inspectorate for the Games said the summer games that followed the two world wars were good examples.
I believe the Tokyo Olympics may ultimately be amongst the greatest games ever, if not the greatest. And putting this parochialism of a proud Sydney boy aside, and in the spirit of Sidious Altius Fortius, I certainly hope Tokyo will be. Because we're all emerging from a time of global distress, and because we must wait longer than the already long wait for an Olympics, the Games of Tokyo will gently, but perceptibly, echo the sheer joy and relief of the other delayed Olympics of Antwerp in 1920 and London in 1948.
Looking at football now, La Liga has confirmed that 5 players across Spain's top 2 divisions have tested positive for the coronavirus. The unnamed players are all now in isolation, and they will also continue to be tested and only be allowed to rejoin training after returning 2 successive negative results. Testing in La Liga started last week as part of the protocols agreed with government. La Liga President Javier Tebas said there will be football every day when the league resumes, and that both La Liga and the Segunda Division will start at the same time. He earmarked June the 12th as a potential resumption date. Now, Manchester United legend Ryan Giggs says he regrets ever crossing manager Alex Ferguson when he was a youngster. Giggsy has shared some detail on how Ferguson used to strike fear into the squad.
He mellowed a little bit as he got older, but not a lot. But definitely early on, especially as a young player, he had this cough, which you could hear. You know, it'd be like, and if you heard that at our first training ground at the Cliff, you would very often turn the other way and just, you didn't want to cross him. You just, 18, 19, 20, because you just never knew what sort of mood he was in. So there was definitely that fear, but ultimately there was always that respect. Whether he had a go at you or, you know, you just fell out with him, there was always that respect, but definite fear, definite.
Speaking about great managers, former Arsenal goalkeeper Jens Lehmann has praised Arsene Wenger's management style during his time at the London club. Wenger introduced new training, fitness and dieting regimes that had managers across the country following suit. Lehmann says it was those improvements that made him and the rest of the 2003-04 squad invincible, going the entire season unbeaten.
Probably next to Sir Alex, the most successful manager anyway in England, and the only thing which was missing was the Champions League. But I knew that I was coming to somebody who had a fantastic reputation in managing, approaching the football, modern football, in a different way, probably to most of his colleagues at the time. And it was just fantastic to see and to learn. For example, as a German, we never really cared about tactics, and in a system 4-4-2 or 4-5-1 or whatsoever. And I've learned that in England. I've learned that from my teammates, and I've learned that from Arsene. So it was a great experience and fantastic education for me.
Now, coming back home, football agent Jasmine Matlakhan says he has encouraged players in his stable to use their sporting break wisely as the PSL season remains halted by the coronavirus pandemic. Matlakhan insists it's a good time for them to study.
Part of the conversation that I'm having with one of them, one-on-one, is that some of them I'm saying you need to start registering online and study, because you're not gonna train and wait for the message from FIFA or SAFA. I think there's other things that players could at the moment empower themselves, particularly from my stable. I'm saying, listen, look at the online, programs that you can do, whether it's computer upskilling, whether it's anything to do with what you want to do, whether it's sports management, because there is time now, even if they're training on apps between a particular time to a particular time. But the point is they've got time now to be able to register and be able to study.
Now, keeping with the studying theme, Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton is learning a new language while waiting for the delayed start of the 2020 season. The Mercedes driver says his competitive side is coming out during his language lessons.
This is actually probably the first time that I can remember that I've been in one place for a long, for 6 weeks. It's very, very unusual. I've always wanted to learn a language, and I still don't know any other languages, and it's embarrassing, I feel, when people ask, and I think it's probably similar for many people who only speak one language. I aced French at school. It's the only thing I aced, and so going on this online course, and the thing is, the course that I have is like a 6-week course, and you're supposed to do half an hour a day. And when I do things, I just do it to the extreme. So I sit down and I do a week in 2 hours, basically. Just do 1 week a day.